All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're tackling a really heavy topic, parricide. That's the killing of a direct relative or a spouse. But we're here to really distill the legal framework, which is where it gets fascinating.
It really is. The sources we've looked at describe it as, and this is a direct quote, the most terrible and unnatural of crimes.
Terrible and unnatural. And historically, that was taken so literally, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you go back to Romulus's time, they didn't even legislate a penalty for it.
Why not?
They just considered it a crime too evil ever to be committed. They couldn't conceive of it happening.
Wow, okay, let's unpack this. Because modern law certainly caught up. Now it imposes the absolute harshest penalty, from life imprisonment, reclusion perpetua, all the way up to death.
And that's our mission today, really, to understand the very specific legal line that separates this from, say, simple murder.
So what is that line?
It's the relationship itself. That connection between the offender and the victim is the one essential element.
Okay, so there are three basic requirements then.
Exactly. 1, a person is killed. Pretty straightforward. 2, the accused is the one who did the killing.
And the third, the crucial one.
The third is that the deceased must have that specific legal relationship to the accused.
Right. And I imagine the details of that relationship status are where things get complicated.
Immensely. And this is where it gets really interesting. For the immediate family, so a father, mother, or child, the relationship is established whether they're legitimate or illegitimate.
So in that case, the direct blood tie is all that matters.
The blood tie is enough. You don't need to prove a marriage. There is, however, one critical carve-out.
Oh.
If a parent kills a child that is less than 3 days old, the charge becomes infanticide, not parricide. It's a different crime.
That makes sense. But what happens when you move beyond that immediate parent-child bond to the rest of the family tree, like grandparents or grandchildren?
And that is the critical nuance you need to understand. For any other ascendant or descendant, that relationship must be legitimate.
Wait, seriously. So if you kill your grandfather, but he was illegitimate?
The crime drops to homicide, not parricide. According to the sources, the charge just changes like that.
So the severity of the crime, the entire charge, hinges on a piece of paper, on legal status, not the shared DNA.
That's precisely the legal crux of it. And the rule for a spouse follows that same strict logic.
They also have to be illegitimate.
Yes, the marriage must be legitimate. A marriage certificate is the best proof, of course, but an admission of the marriage by the accused can also be used as evidence.
Under that principle,
Semper presumitur matrimonio. The presumption is always in favor of marriage, but again, it has to be a valid one. Killing a third wife in a non-valid polygamous marriage, for instance, is not parricide.
Okay, so if the relationship is the absolute controlling factor, what about the killer's intent? Do they need to know they're related?
You know, that's what's so fascinating. The answer is no.
No, at all.
The law does not require the offender's knowledge. If you kill someone thinking they're a stranger and it turns out they were your estranged son,
You're still liable for parricide.
you're still liable for parricide. The crime is defined by the relationship that exists, not the one the killer perceives.
That is just so striking. What about a co-conspirator, if a stranger helps commit the crime?
Another surprising detail. That stranger is only guilty of homicide or murder.
They escape the parricide charge.
Exactly. Because they personally lack that legally defined relationship with the victim. The unique severity is tied only to that bond.
So to recap, parricide is defined with almost surgical precision by the legal relationship. It's an impartial, if maybe archaic feeling, application of law to the family tree.
It is, and this raises one final important question for you to mull over.
Okay.
The sources mention a situation where a natural father, who was the presumptive heir of his child, was not ordered to pay a financial indemnity after killing that child.
Right, because he would essentially be paying himself from the inheritance.
Precisely. So the question to think about is this. How does the legal system truly rationalize balancing the punishment for such a heinous crime against the perpetrator's simultaneous right to inherit from the very person they killed?
A very tricky question.
Yeah.
Something to explore after this deep dive.